So over the last 20 plus years as an industry, we've all been designing digital banking applications with the idea that our users are logging in with a job in mind to be done. They want to check their balances, they want to make a transfer, they want to make a payment, they want to see their transaction history. And so we design our applications and our pages to minimize the number of clicks that are required for the customer to do that. But if we juxtapose that against a study that was commissioned by the Department of the Treasury in 2020, which said only 1/3 of Americans today would actually qualify as being financially literate. That means 2/3 of our potential customers likely don't know what they should be focused on to maximize their financial potential. I'm proud to say at Apiture, we're working to address this head on. Let me show you. So I'm gonna log into digital banking as an existing user, Emily Johnson. And what you'll notice when I log in, instead of being met with just a standard overview page, I'm actually greeted by Sensei. And so Sensei has 3 jobs. Job number 1 is to take all of the data that's made available to the digital banking platform and to suss out what's most important for Emily right now. What should she be focused on? What are those tasks? Job number 2 is to make it as easy as possible for Emily to accomplish those tasks. And job number 3, and most importantly, is to provide her with the information that's required for her to make the decisions which maximize her financial potential. Does it a couple separate ways. So let me show you. First is a real-time briefing. At any given moment, Emily or any user can log in and say, what do I need to know right now? And so in this instance, she's met with a chart of accounts that says, okay, over the last 30 days, you've had this changes in your checking and savings, and you paid off mortgage, great. She can also see the top spending categories for where she is in this particular month, as well as how did she end up the last month in those particular categories. And a summary of overall, she spent $3,000 less than the previous month. Fantastic. Sensei also gets into predictive analytics, whereby it's taking a look at not just scheduled payments and transfers, but also historical payments and transfers and Zelle payments and subscriptions or debits that come out of the account. And then it's projecting forward to say, we anticipate over the next couple of weeks, you're likely to have these transactions come out of the account, and then meet that with where we project your deposits are going to be. She doesn't have to worry about any of that. She can say, okay, over the next couple of weeks, it looks like the account should have more than enough to meet their needs. Now, if that were not the case, then she would have the opportunity to either originate a credit offering, or Sensei would ask her, hey, do you want to move money, X dollars, from your savings account over to your checking account? She also sees any real-time alerts and notifications, and those can be driven from a couple of different places. Either custom user-driven alerts, like let me know if my balance drops below X, or a transaction comes through that's above Y, or it can be driven from fraud partners. Like in this case, hey, did you make this purchase of $46 with the Peloton subscription? Yes. In the instance that she didn't, she could say no, and then Sensei could then prompt her to say, hey, we need more documentation, or kick off a workflow for the back end. The second piece of Sensei that I want to talk through is the recommended prompts. Think of recommended prompts like a dynamic, data-driven task list. It's what Sensei believes is most important for her to continue to make financial progress. So in this case, one of the things that's really important is to understand goals. So that feeds the model, it provides it with intent. So in this case, she says, let's help save for a goal. What do you want to save for? Emily's going to save for a vacation. By when do you want to meet that savings goal? She's going to say 1 year. And Sensei will then go through and do the math to say, okay, based on your historical cash flow, we believe that you can save, in this case, $300 a month very easily. And then Emily can say, well, I want less of a vacation, more of a vacation, whatever. It's not just enough for Sensei to help capture the goal, which is really important, but it also encourages her to go and accomplish that. So it's saying, hey, do you want to go ahead and set up recurring transfers to make this happen so that in a year you're going to have this much saved? Yes, let's go ahead and do that. And then in future real-time briefings, she'll actually be encouraged along the way. You're 25% of the way to this goal, you're 50% of the way to the goal. What's also cool is Sensei will then monitor cash flow. Where there are material changes to cash flow over that time, it may say, hey, do we want to accelerate this particular goal, or do we want to decelerate because of changes that have happened in cash flow? Recommended prompts are also being driven by Apiture's targeted marketing solution. So Emily happens to be a part of a campaign driven by the bank that says they want more customers enrolled in their credit monitoring service. So one of the recommended prompts that Emily sees is enroll in credit monitoring. Sensei makes it as easy as possible to cross-sell into your existing customer base based on audiences that the financial institution can define. So in this case, it says, hey, have you read and do you agree to terms and conditions? She reads them diligently 100% of the time, as we all do. Yes, of course, she's agreed. The next time she logs in, she'll actually see and be able to engage with a credit monitoring service. More importantly, that data is now made available to Sensei so it can inform future real-time briefings, future alerts and notifications, and give her the ability to engage with that for the future. So the third and final piece that I want to talk through of Sensei is the prompt bar itself. So think this is where Emily can go to ask questions like, how can I begin to save for my daughter's college? Never gets easy to type in text. And so what's happening is going out and taking into consideration Emily's specific financial situation and through a tuned LLM and saying, okay, here are the steps that you may take on to be able to do this. So you may look at a 529 plan, you may look at a Coverdale plan, you may want to decide how much it is that you need to save. We see that happening back and forth. We could not be more excited about the potential that Sensei has to empower community and regional financial institutions to be able to maximize the personal service that they can provide to their customers, to make sure that their customers are focused on the most impactful tasks at exactly the right time, to make it as easy as possible for those customers to focus on those tasks, and to be able to provide the best personalized service. Thank you so much.